I know you wrote an article. Take us through this. Inside look at why the Browns drafted Mike Hall Jr., Zak Zinter, and the rest of that draft class.
You know what? I just broke it down one by one and kind of explained how this all went down. So we can start with Mike Hall Jr. And basically, the Browns really only felt that they had about a 50-50 chance of landing Mike Hall Jr. Because he was one of only 3 defensive tackles that they really, really seriously considered at that number 54 spot, because they were going for the guys that had elite rush ability from the interior. The other 2 were Byron Murphy and then Johnny Newton. And those guys, Byron went at 18, Johnny Newton went, I think, 36. And so those guys were gone. And then between 36 and 54, they really didn't know if Mike Hall was going to be there. But then as they got closer, a number of guys that they really liked kind of started to fly off the board. And I think they felt pretty good about the fact that they were able to get Mike Hall where they did, because there was a chance, a pretty darn good chance, that he was going to be gone by 54. In fact, they took a bunch of calls to trade for that pick, and 2 of the teams said that they were coming up to get Mike Hall.
Yeah, Zak Zinter is a guy that, if he doesn't break his leg in that Ohio State game, I'm not sure he's there in the 3rd round.
Probably not. He was arguably the best offensive lineman on also arguably the best offensive line in the country. So either they were 1 or 2, Michigan. So, they were probably pretty darn lucky to get him in the 3rd round as well. And again, it's not a super sexy pick because he's probably not going to get much playing time this year if everyone stays healthy, but certainly a good solid pick in looking ahead down the road and knowing that you have a succession plan now for Joel Bitonio.
Yeah, when you look at those first 2 picks, Siaka Ika is the only defensive tackle who's 29 or younger. So, you've got a lot of older defensive tackles. And then you got Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller as the guards. Those were 2 positions you needed the next generation of players at.
Yes, and you didn't necessarily have to get the defensive tackle this year, because you could have filled in those blanks next year, but chances are you would have maybe been looking at one of those high-priced free agents, because everybody's coveting those interior rushers now, the Chris Jones examples of the world. So, chances are they would have had to have been looking around like that to get one. Now they believe that they have that guy in the building, maybe not ready to start right away, but someone that is in the wings for next year or the year after, and he will contribute this year. I mean, he might even start, but he absolutely will contribute, and he's definitely in the mix for a starting job soon after this year.